I got it. Hold on. We're preparing to live stream and then I will be back to you guys. Hi from San Fran. I see you. I see you. All right. We're doing it. Okay. Hello. I'm here now. Hi, Kansas City, the Netherlands. Hi, Yvonne. Nova Scotia's in the house. Reno. Hair is gorgeous. Why, thanks. I just had it blown out. Rochester's in the house. Hey, Carol. Hi, everybody. We're going to give people a moment to get in and I'll start our official welcome, but I just want to say hello. Tell me where you're coming in from. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Hi, Barb. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. I'm so incredibly happy that you are here. Hey, Joanna. All right, I'll let you know. I'll email you. Hey, Christy from San Diego. We have Idaho, Jersey. What's up, Jersey girl? Kalamazoo. Woo. Northern Virginia. Galway, Ireland. Sinead, I will spare you my very bad Irish accent. I will spare you. Southern Cal. Hey, Chris. Hey, you guys. I'm so happy you're here. This is so fun. So sound is good. Everything is good. I don't have to put these in my head because I really don't want to. Hi, South Florida. St. John's. Hi. Toronto's in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy you guys are all here. I just ran in from putting my chickens in their pen because I just don't trust the wildlife around here not to eat them. Hi. Hey, Chels. What's up, home slash? We got the UK in the house. You like my new haircut? Thank you, Dana. Thanks. I appreciate it. Oregon Coast is here. Ooh, I'm in my once a year. Literally, I have this shirt I wear one time a year on Galentine's Day. And I have the same lipstick. I'm sure it's very bad that I've had this lipstick for like 4 years. I'm pretty sure you're supposed to throw it out after 6 months, but P.S. nobody does that. I'm just saying. Anyway, let's officially get started, shall we? Hey, Pat. I'm going to keep saying hi to people because I like to. What's up? Decline. I love that my mother's just calling me in the middle of this. Hi, Mom. All right. I'm officially welcoming you to the More Love Meditation Experience live Q&A coaching call number 2. Woo! Yvonne said I still have lipstick from before the pandemic. I still have lipstick from like 8th grade. No, not 8th grade, but definitely long before the pandemic. Anyway, if you have something that smells good, we're going to say it a little. Wow, this smells so good. You guys, we need to contact these people. Jasmine C. Sun by Lively. Woo, man, so good. All right, so I want you to settle because I don't know what you did before this and I don't know what you're doing after this. But I do know that while we're together, let's get into a really embodied Zen present place. So I'm going to ask you to start. You can put your hands open on your lap, sort of in a receiving position. If you have your legs crossed, I'd ask you to uncross them. Gently close your eyes. And just breathe. As you exhale, intentionally relax your shoulders, sort of roll them down your back, because this is really where they're supposed to be. If they're up by your ears, that's really not where they go. And let's just dial into our body. How is your body feeling? What do you need? Are you comfortable? Are you uncomfortable? Are you warm enough? Do you need to roll your head around? How does your neck feel? Move to whatever position you need to be in to be comfortable. And just keep breathing. You can put your hand on your heart, or you don't have to. I like to. We're just dropping in psychologically, emotionally, and physically, dropping into this present moment. We're going to do 2 deep breaths into the heart chakra, which is right in the middle of your chest. Take a deep breath in and exhale, just imagining that anything that's blocking your heart chakra is leaving your body with your breath. Let's breathe in again and exhale. Now we're going to do the same thing with your third eye. So right between your eyebrows and a little bit up. Take a deep breath. We're going to visualize that anything that's blocking your ability to see with clarity is leaving your body with your breath. So breathe and exhale. And let's do that one more time. In and exhale. So clearing your heart chakra is giving you the ability to come to our time together with an open heart. And clearing your third eye is giving you the ability to come to our time together with an open mind, which, as I always say, is always a beginner's mind. So throw out what you think you know and allow yourself to be curious throughout our time together. Now we're going to set our collective intention. Mine is always that you learn something that lessens your suffering and elevates your joy. You can have your own intention. And on the count of 3, we're going to take a deep breath in together and then exhale audibly with a sigh. 1, 2, 3. Ah. Oh, man. Well, hello. And welcome back. So let's start with how many of you did the More Love Meditation experience, at least some of it, any days of it, one day of it? Or are you on here because you intended to do it, but you didn't? Just say me. Yes, yes, yes. You did. Yay, day 7. Woohoo. All of it. I love it, Mare. Great. Love it. Make sure you're talking to everyone, you guys, too, in the drop-down menu. Yes, many of you did a lot. None, but well-intentioned. Hey, you know what? Sometimes they say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. I say the road to transformation can also be paved with good intentions, sister. Because you know what? You're here, which is what matters now. The meditations were so calming. Yes, it was a lovely refresh, restart. Yes. So exciting. Okay. So now I'll ask you, what was your biggest takeaway? What was your biggest aha in what you were doing? Tell me. I want to know. Anything is possible. Ooh, I love it, Mark. Self-love first. Right on, Kim. It all comes back to letting go of control. Oh, God, Megan, yes, over and over again. Making myself a priority. Self-love rules. I have the capacity to open my heart even more. I love that so much, Elmira. Day 10, relax and let more love flow into my life. You like that one, Christy? Self-love, not repeating mistakes. Yep, time for me to receive. Yes, take care of me first. How much I need this practice. Yes. I feel that. That's why we do it, you know? I have to be the most important person in my life. Hard with the new grandbaby, says Joanna. Yes, it is. And yet it's still true, right? Even when everyone we love has a lot going on, we still have to really be our priority in a healthy way. And I think obviously why this resonates is that so many of us were conditioned to be like, I got to be last on my own list or I'm not loving, you know? Sonia said, have faith, have fun. Self-love is so important. The road to transformation is paved with good intentions. Yes. Really makes me think it's okay to take care of myself. Marie, that's so major. Like that, what Marie just shared, that is literally can be a life-changing realization, right? Because we could go to the end of our days really feeling like it's not okay for us to take care of ourselves. And it's so backwards and not true. Loretta said, letting go of expectations that no longer serve me. Amazing. Doing more things I love. Yes. I think I always make excuses for why I don't have enough time, but I spend so much time ruminating. Oh, Chelsea, yes. The meditation has slowed that way down. And I was shocked by how much time I really did have to take care of myself. It's so true when we start really looking at what am I doing with my time and ruminating. Wow, I'm sure lots of people can identify. Megan said how deficient I am in self-love, which is, hey, awareness is the first pillar to transforming anything, right? How I need to teach him how I want to be loved. Yes, Naomi. And it's funny, that's another thing that we learned backwards, sort of like there's this whole magical thinking around love, like if they were really the right person, they would know. No, if we told them, they'd friggin' know. And then we'd know if they were willing to try to love us the way we want to be loved. But how can we know that if we don't tell them, you know? Remembering the things that bring me joy, peaceful ease every day as possible. Take the time every day. Yes, Kimberly, letting go of limiting beliefs. A lot of them were imposed on me. That's the whole thing, Gwendolyn, that you also realize like, oh, a lot of this crap that's weighing me down isn't even mine. Like I didn't even choose it. I inherited it, but now it's time for me to edit it out. I need to take responsibility for my habits. I can't believe it was free, an awesome gift to the universe. Oh, Mark, you know how we do. Here's the thing, because you know why? Everybody deserves the transformation we're talking about. Everybody. And of course, I have other courses and I'll talk about some of them probably later in this live, because that is also how I make money. But the reality is the truth of my dharma, my purpose is to help as many people as possible. So that means doing a lot of quality free things, which you all know because you're in my crew. I do because I love you, because I want you to get what you want, because I want you to get what you deserve in life. And I want you to elevate that bar, you know, and for me, that can't be done with just selling, because what if you can't afford it? Does that mean you deserve it any less? No, it doesn't. I'm about to cry. I stood up for myself. Good for you. Really appreciate the generosity of helping us learn to put ourselves first and be gentle and kind with ourselves. I learned so much. Every day was an aha, says Beth. Right on. Realize I need to change my regular thoughts. Stop pinning thoughts about men that aren't, stop like pining away for people who are not reciprocal. Yes. Chelsea said, and when that crap that isn't mine is edited out, it's not as triggering when it shows up in family members. Oh my God, that is so true. Because here's the thing. When we edit it out, Chelsea, the stuff where we go, oh, hey, that's really not mine to carry, we're less resentful because we put it down. Like we're exhausted, right? So when we put it down and then this behavior comes up, like we don't have to, you know what I mean? We don't have to, because we're not carrying that burden. Yes, you guys, make sure you're set to everyone, as Tracy just reminded us, that the chat is so that we can all see. Wow, I love you. I'm in Saudi Arabia. Your work is helping women all over the world. Well, Hind, I love you too. And that's my goal, is to help folks all over the world, especially in more repressive places, especially if people don't have access to their credit card, right? But you have access to YouTube, you have access to the website. Like those are things I think about, because we really do have such an international group of people that I'm thinking about everything I create, you guys. I'm thinking about you. Yes. And Mark said, you're helping men too, LOL. Yes, of course I am. And you're one of the very smart 10%, Mark, and I appreciate you being here. I really do. And here's the thing. So much of what I teach is applicable, right? Because it's human behavior. Can Girl said, that's not mine to carry. I love that. So grateful that you taught me to give myself permission to live and love my way, said Naomi. Good. That's it. So how do you feel, right? Spending 10 days on you. How was that? Even if you haven't finished, right? But how was it to give yourself this gift? We're sort of talking about me giving you this gift. But how was it for you to actually give it to yourself and then stick with it? Felt great. Cleared cobwebs, said Kim. That's amazing. Yep. So Margot from YouTube said, using my strength and power to my advantage instead of using it, hold on, to keep myself small. Wow. 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 All right, you guys, let's just stay there for 1 second. Margot just shared using my strength and power basically to my advantage instead of using it to keep myself small. Because that's so brilliant, Margot, because do you know how much friggin' energy it takes to keep yourself small? Because you're all these bright, amazing lights. And if we feel afraid, we like dampen our own light, even though we end up resenting other people for it, quote unquote. But that was such a beautiful share. Thank you. Feeling full of freedom. Kay said a great way to start my day. Beth said I felt lighter. It was a relief. And my love light definitely started shining. And I got asked out on day 10. Oh, I love that. Dunya. That is so great. And I'm not surprised. Made me smile and cry. New thought patterns, said Joanne. It helped me give perspective on what I needed to do, which sometimes, Yvonne, that's all we need, where we're like, I'm sort of caught in the muck. Like I'm not happy, but I'm not positive why. Hopefully this provided steps of like, what's next. It was a great reminder, said Sonia. I've taken your courses and love the reminders. You've taught me so much. Oh, Sonia. Lev said, yes, men are here also, as self-love and boundaries are universal for everyone. That's right, Lev. I'm with you. Took unhealthy focus away from being single on Valentine's Day. That's right. Yay, love yourself. Correct. And Kath, I've never been like a big Valentine's Day person because it was so exclusionary. And I'm like, here's the thing. That's a manufactured holiday for like card companies to make money and chocolate companies and whatever. But I loved co-opting it to have it be a day of self-love, even if you do celebrate Valentine's Day, even if it's lovely between you and your person, because that's a reminder we could all use all the time, Sinead said, feeling liberated and lighter in being, releasing the reliance I have on others to feel full of love and happiness, said Nikki. Beautiful, because we're getting high on our own supply, right? That's really what we're learning, is that self-love is super important. Carol said, I want to keep going. Chelsea said, it came at the perfect time for me, very aligned. I've been feeling called to clear trapped energy so that I can shine brighter and be a better channel for what I want to create in my life. This was a great step forward. Single is better than with someone toxic, says Love. Yeah. And actually, single is better than with someone who you feel like you're settling. Someone who's a perfectly fine human being, but you're not in love with them, but you stay, Lisa said, is this day 1 or the tail end of day 10? It's the tail end. Taking time for myself felt great. I'm even more committed to continue to take time for self-love. That's exactly what I was hoping, Mindy. Karen said, so many opportunities have presented themselves to share what I'm discovering with others. Teaching what I'm learning underscores my own ahas. Lovely. As long as you're still getting your lessons, Karen, because I was the queen of like learning something for like 1 second and then being like, everyone in my family must do this same thing, but part of that was I didn't in a way think I was important enough to do it for myself. But I agree with you, when we're sharing in a healthy way, it really does reinforce what it is that we're learning. Anna said, I kept myself small for 32 years until I left my narcissistic abuser. This helped me fly higher and fall in love with who I am. Finding my curious, adventuresome, kind, caring self again is more than I could have asked for. Yay, Anna. Wow, that makes me so happy. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of, all right, I'm going to read, I think it's Dana. I had 2 occasions last week where I gave myself permission to pause for days to gather my thoughts and clarify what I really wanted to respond to someone in a text. I wasn't sure how to answer at first. I'm so proud of myself that I stood by my decision and boundary that I wouldn't otherwise feel anxious and scared about. Woohoo! That's amazing, because that's so liberating too, to just go, it's okay. I'm allowed to give myself space. I'm allowed to give myself permission to pause, to breathe. I'm allowed to even say, I'll get back to you when I've thought it through. Right? Sally said, I haven't started yet, but this is the perfect time as I enter into the process of separation, divorce from my husband. Thank you, Terri, for all you do. Right on, Sally. We're sending you good vibes. Kim said, yes, just realize I'm allowed to give myself time alone and not feel guilty. Yes, and we're also allowed to not like multitask. We're also allowed to just do things because we like them, because it feels good, because it's fun, as opposed to, I just feel like that was a hard one thing for me personally, because I always felt like I needed to be doing more, or like if I'm doing that, then I could double it with this, Florence said, Terri, been a fan since the Boundary Boss book was a life changer. Oh, why? Thank you. It's right there, wherever it is. So weird, it's backwards, but yes. All right, I'm going to give you a couple of shares and I'm going to take in your questions. Jennifer on day 10, which was surrender to love, using being busy as a way to bind your anxiety. That's because that's what I said. That really hit home for me. It's amazing how when you start to relax, the first thing that you feel is all the things that you've been trying not to feel. I think giving yourself the space to allow those emotions to flow seems to be the most loving thing you can do. Does anyone else identify with that? Right? Being busy as a way of not feeling feelings we don't want to feel. And that makes the slowing down even harder, And then we slow down and suddenly there's all these feelings. But then once you start feeling them, you're like, you know what? I'm going to be okay. It's not that bad. Or I can't not feel them forever. That's the real thing that I hope people get, is like, you can't not feel forever, because it will come out, whether it comes out as illness, whether it comes out in a, displaced aggression. Like nobody is God. Nobody has the power to make us not feel our feelings. So why not just create the expansion? It is a super loving thing to do. All right. Sinead said there's definitely a different flow of energy going on within me. And this was on under day 10, surrender to love, when I'm actively trying to control outcomes versus going with the flow. When I'm controlling situations, it can be such effort and hard work, and my manufactured outcomes often disappoint. Surrendering to me means gently releasing all effort and work and trusting in my higher divine source to drive my life. When I stay rooted in the present moment and take my foot off the pedal, there's an energetic space for divine magic to happen. I seem to attract the people, places, situations, and outcomes that enrich my life and teach me valuable lessons. Thank you, Terri, for reminding me to allow and expand more, control and constrict less. I love that so much. All right, Megan said, I'm not going to read all these. Well, I'm going to move on to the questions after Megan's. Megan said, and this is under day 9, I celebrate myself joyfully. This is the most challenging of all days. When I come up with a positive trait about myself, my inner voice bats it down and says, don't be so conceited. You're not that great, actually. Are you really? Or are you just making that up? Not sure how to combat that inner voice or free my healthy inner voice, who has self-love and self-pride. I think I'm pretty self-aware, critical of myself when I mess up, but I don't allow room for pride. When I do, I feel like it is the devil on my shoulder talking, and I cram it away in place of more self-criticism. That's interesting. And that sounds like a religious household remnant. Now, I could be wrong, but you know what I mean? How we learn about pride and that it's bad. It's not bad. And knowing what's good about you is important. How can we actively and honestly work on anything that we want to work on if we're not honest about what's great about us? The same way you can easily say what's great about the people you love, it's something that you've got to get used to, get into, and understand that you're not meant to live this whole life in some kind of a war with yourself, right? You're meant to be your greatest support. And there's a way to do it that is loving and that is truthful, right? It's not a competition thing. It's not saying I'm better than someone else. It's saying when someone gives you a compliment, instead of batting it away, it's saying, thank you so much. I worked so hard on that. It really means a lot to me that you acknowledged it. Thank you. being grateful, because we can't honestly work on our deficits if we don't honestly acknowledge our skills, our unique special sauce that's just us. It's very important. All right. Queen Sophia said, I have a big question about the Q&A on Valentine's Day. After I became a boundary boss, how do I fine-tune my strategy by not coming across as a boundary bitch? I think I found my person, but he's kind of terrified of me. And while I thoroughly enjoy having a dominating persona in a good way, I will treat him like a king. I want him to see the softer side, but also know I do not like to be trifled with when it comes to who I share my love with. Well, here's the thing. There's so much space in between dominating and being dominated. Like real love is neither, right? It's sharing power. It's being in a place that's safe enough to be your softer self. Why would you make an assumption that this person that you got into a relationship with would trifle with you, so to speak? Right? If he's respecting your boundaries and respects you, unless that's an old story you may have about other relationships. But my feeling is, it sounds like you've established good boundaries, and that, now it's about vulnerability, right? Are you going to keep that wall up? And I love the idea of being voluntarily vulnerable, where it's not all the things at once, right? But if someone has given you good reason to trust them and no good reason not to trust them, then slowly but surely letting them closer to your most tender heart makes sense, and I think is prudent. And this is the way healthy relationships develop and are nurtured and are curated, kind of like this is how we create them. But it's over time, So I hope that was helpful. Lev said, how do I get over my past by getting all the lessons I need, making good out of the bad, and continue living without constantly remembering the bad past? Well, I would ask you, Lev, like, what's in it for you remembering the bad past? Like, I have the secondary gain questions that I teach in my courses and I talk about online, which that is the unobvious gain we get by sort of staying stuck in something that is not for our highest good, or something that we say we don't want to do. So those questions are, and I'll ask you, what do you get to not face, not feel, or not experience by continually reminding yourself of the bad past? Is there an illusion that it keeps you safe? Is there's something? So maybe take the secondary gain questions. And again, you ask yourself, what do I get to not face, not feel, or not experience by continuing to remember the bad past? That's your assignment, Lev. See what you come up with. All right, moving on. What exactly is selfish, says Dunia, if the things I was told are selfish are actually just self-care? Well, selfish is going out to lunch with someone and you have money and they don't, and you buy a sandwich and they're hungry and you eat the whole sandwich and don't share it with them. According to me, that's selfish. Selfish is not caring about other people. Selfish is not helping others, right? And we put a caveat to that. We don't help others at the cost of our own mental wellness or physical or financial wellness, right? Because then that is more of a compulsive, codependent, unhealthy helping rather than helping from free will. So I hope that was a little clarifying. Heather said, distort emotions or feelings need to be expressed as their same emotion feeling in order for it to be released. Mainly anger and rage and injustice and abandonment sticking around and destroying relationships constantly. I don't think they have to be released as, I understand the question. I don't think they have to be released as the same emotion per se. I think that you got to get into the nitty gritty of honoring what you experienced. Why the rage? why the pain, why all the stuff, right? And then write about that. What do you need, right, to release that? Is there something that has to happen? Because it's really in the acknowledgement and the honoring that usually we can release it. Because it's like, if you feel rage, sometimes, batting a pillow or screaming or, letting it out or doing a really like intense dance something, or I took up boxing after I was diagnosed with cancer many years ago because I needed a way to, in an adaptive way, release the rage I felt about being sick. But I knew I had to do something. And it wouldn't help me to just rage about it because I had to get in treatment and have surgeries and I had to do what I needed to do to be healthy, right? So I hope I answered your question. I hope I did. Jennifer said, while doing these meditations or trying to manifest love, is it better to focus on a specific person, or should we focus on the qualities we're looking for in a partner? I actually like the idea of focusing on how you want to feel, right? More about you. As Danielle Laporte would say, like, what is your core desired feeling? Do you want to feel respected? Do you want to feel loved? Do you want to feel desired? Do you want to feel, and focus on that is that's my thought. All right, Nikki said, hey, Terri, I'm a 26-year-old healthcare student, currently in a relationship with a 33-year-old jazz musician. As much as I adore his passion for music and career choice, his work is very inconsistent, and the gig economy hasn't been great lately. I sat him down for a conversation about our own money goals, projected incomes, etc., and essentially our comfort levels with income are very different. Since our conversation, I'm questioning if we can stay together because I don't want to be in a partnership with someone who I have to financially take care of down the line, and would hope to have a partner who contributes 50% financially to our home, etc. What is your advice to people who are uncomfortable with their partner's income? If this is a genuine concern of mine, I wonder if I'm ready for a relationship. If I truly loved him, would his income not be a concern of mine? Thank you, Terri. I love your podcast and so appreciate your work. Okay. I think you have a legitimate concern because all of our need for security, fiscal security, is different, right? Everyone has a different thing. So I couldn't be with someone who was broke, even if they were super talented personally. It's not that I need them to be loaded. I needed to be, we're both contributing, and to be with someone who has a similar idea of what does a safety net look like? How much money should we have in the bank? Maybe we'll put off the vacation because we can't afford it now, but we can together save money to get there, right? Like, I think you want a partnership. So Nikki, I don't know that it's you're making an excuse or that you don't really love this person. And it doesn't mean you can't come to terms. But the thing is, your person has to care about how you feel about money. That makes sense? And like, maybe there can be a way that you can meet in the middle about what it is. But I don't think you're like making something out of nothing. This is a very common concern, All right, Megan said, at what point does spreading joy through small acts of kindness, like carrying groceries, turn into people pleasing? When you do it, even though you don't have time. When you do it, even though it makes you late to a meeting. When you're abandoning yourself and what you need in the moment to do it. Or if you can't not do it, then it's a compulsion, right? It's not a choice. It's a compulsion if you can't not do it. So that's my answer, Megan. I hope it was helpful. All right. Sally said, how to deal effectively with fear of the future, fear of the unknown? Well, this is a very primal fear that we're hardwired. So I think that the way that I do it myself is I plan, I visualize. I actually have a vision board, and I'm actually doing a vision board class, and it's way more than that, with my bestie, Lara Riggio. If anyone cares, we'll give you the information at the end. It's going to be amazing. A bunch of weeks with us doing this exact thing of I envision my future. I get clear about where do I want my career to go? whether I was manifesting a book deal, whether I was manifesting my mastermind, whatever it is. And I don't like to say manifesting because it sounds all magical, but I could either be in fear of the future or do my best to make plans and create the future I'm envisioning, because visualizing is incredibly powerful. So when you find yourself ruminating in a fearful way, maybe pour your energy into creating what you want to happen. And I'm flexible. Listen, I was manifesting a friggin' book deal for like a decade, like literally. And of course, it didn't happen until I knew what I should write about for real, because as a therapist, of course, I could write about many, many things. So it's a long game, is all I'm saying, because the future will always be unknown, right? Best laid plans. But you definitely have a better shot of getting what you want if you make some plans. And that takes courage. Anyway, drop the link if you didn't already to the vision board class. I'd love you guys to join. It's going to be amazing. All right, Nicole said, how do you move past fear and transform the secondary gains so you can have courage to put in the work and feel safe when the good stuff happens? Honestly, putting in the work takes a lot. How do you find the strength to commit? I think that change your mind about what doing the work is, because it's really the small daily steps, like exactly what we did in the 10 days, right? Loving yourself more, opening your heart to love, right? Like doing the work doesn't all have to be going into the nasty, dirty basement of your mind and, or heavy, heavy lifting. So I think that's my thought. And how do you transform the secondary gains is you have to understand them. As soon as the secondary gain is revealed to you, I had a client said she wanted to be in a relationship, but she wasn't going to date. And so she lost 10 pounds and then couldn't lose the 10 pounds. And I thought she was perfectly fine as she was, but she didn't believe me. So she still wanted to lose the weight. But when we got into the secondary gain questions, what does she get to not feel, not face, not experience by staying stuck at a weight that makes her say she's not fit to date? Oh, she gets to not date. She gets to not be vulnerable. So once we revealed that, she was able to lose the weight, because I was like, listen, nobody's making you date. Let's talk about your fears about dating. Because we were focusing all this time on like, why can't she lose the weight? Which of course I knew was a symptom of something else, but you still got to go be where the client is, So I hope that made it a little bit more clear. Nicole, the vision board class. Trace, are you here? Can somebody drop the link? Naomi asked for the link for it. Or maybe we don't have a sign-up sheet yet. Anyway, I don't know. All I know is that don't worry, I'll get you the class information. Yes, there we go. Yes, Chelsea said vision boards. I recently got a note from the universe, one of my faves, which you guys can get. It's Mike Dooley. You can sign up for a daily note from the universe. It's just so amazing. His website is tut.com, which you introduced me to. And the message was, make sure you put a photo of yourself on your vision board so that the universe knows they're conspiring on your behalf. Such a duh moment, but I never did it. I recently added a photo of myself to the vision board and feel so much better already. I'm now recognizing that a vision board is a projection of the future I want and deserve. A small thing, but a major shift. Oh, yeah. It's a major shift because we're not visualizing these things outside of ourselves. We're visualizing these things with us in the middle of these experiences that we want, right? So good. Someone on my team will answer that. All right. Dee said, I once knew a therapist who sadly encouraged marriage separation due to spouse illness, saying it would drag down the other spouse's path. Given, if you really love someone, you remain, what suggestions would you lend a highly energetic, sensitive empath who deeply feels an ill loved one's energy in one's own body? What recommendations would you have? Would you recommend relatives to boundaries and creating, sustaining one's own joy when an ill spouse isn't on the same level? Well, this is really, this is deep, and you have to decide. Some people don't have it in them to stay. They just don't have the bandwidth to do it because it requires so much courage and so much bravery, and it's exhausting. But I think that you have to, in your mind, there's got to be a shift between you can be a caregiver and you can feel empathic towards a loved one who's ill, and you can also build a life. Because as humans, we're very complicated, right? We can do hard things, as Glennon Doyle would say, we can do many things at once. You can feel satisfaction and joy in your own life, and you need to energize yourself to continue caregiving, and you can be there for that person, you know? So it's hard, you know, it's a hard situation. All right, let me get down to, we have so many questions, and we're only, oh good, we have a little bit of time left. All right, let me get down to it. Vic said, I don't know if it's okay to put a Q in here. I feel unsure about how to navigate sexual intimacy when dating. I ultimately would like a long-term partner, but I don't know what strategy to take. I'm 39 with a 6-year-old daughter, date multiple people without sex, with sex, apps, yuck. Everyone is different. I've had some clients who, when they were dating multiple people, they were not having sex with anyone until they decided to be exclusive. That nowadays would probably be considered quite old-fashioned. I don't know. I still think it's probably a good strategy. You really have to dial in to what is right for you. Take any outside pressure away and think about what is right for you. Does it feel good to share your body sexually with others? Some people would be fine dating multiple people. I say, and having sex with all of them. I say, just tell the truth and be safe and make sure that you're having safe sex, right? Because, but this is where boundaries really come in, because you got to really be able to stick to what feels good to you. And you've got to be able to separate the other person. I always was very suspect when I was dating back in the friggin' olden days of anyone who would try to pressure me sexually. I always had an 8-date rule conversation right up front. Like, trust me, if we don't go the distance of 8 dates, we're not having sex. And many times I didn't. And I never regretted not having sex with someone I was never going to see again. But that's just me. Again, I just feel like this is like a sacred thing for me. And it could be because I'm older than maybe people in their 20s and 30s, and maybe they don't feel that way, or maybe they do. I don't know. I just know that anytime I ever did anything that felt pressured by someone else, it always felt awful afterwards. So that's just my 2 cents. Carla said, I just bought your book. I'm recovering on people pleasing. I realized I suppressed anger, but I had no idea how to feel it or how to connect with the anger or react when someone triggers me. Any tips? Yeah, write about it. Think about the last 5 times you were triggered and didn't say anything, or last time you were triggered and then blew up. What was the need? Here's the thing. When we're being triggered, when we're angry, there's usually a boundary being crossed, a need going unmet. So the question is, what just happened? Why am I angry? A lot of times anger can be like, we call it sort of a secondary emotion, because it may be some people are more comfortable being angry than being hurt or being sad. And then sometimes it's the other way around. So my feeling is, really look at when you're angry, what's happening, Okay. Shannon said, I'm in a stable but sexless marriage. I want to feel desire, warmth, lit up, but I cannot imagine, don't want to destroy our family. We have 2 kids. I want to be happy. But when I think about love, I tear up because I'm not experiencing it the way that I want to. I mean, I'll say the obvious, which is, have you talked to your person? Have you tried with your person? Have you gone to see a therapist with your person? Try to engage them in reading sex books with you, anything like that. because you can't do it alone. Right. And it's like, you've got to go in and unpack, maybe in therapy, your own discomfort around having the conversations or around not getting your needs met sexually, like talking about it. Most of us were never taught to do this, but you can do it and you can learn to do it. So that's my 2 cents, is go in, figure out your own sex stuff, and then see if you can't get your partner to join you in doing something non-threatening, right? Because here's the thing about sex stuff. It can be non-threatening. It can be like, hey, why don't we start giving each other massages, not sex, just massages once a week. Let's bring some intimacy back. It doesn't have to be sexual. And in a way, in the beginning, we take the pressure off the table. That's what I would always do with clients when I used to do couples therapy, is I would just give them assignments of like, hey, no sex, but yes, body massages, to bring back the intimacy without sort of, sometimes when we haven't had sex in a really long time, it feels like so threatening to try to get that whole machine going again. But it's so much easier if you know what I mean? So anyway, I hope that was helpful. All right. Someone's asked, I'm always so uncomfortable standing up for myself. How can I not be so afraid of doing it? I know I'm overcoming not believing I deserve to take care of myself, and it's a process, but you seem so comfortable doing it. I want, hold on. I want to be more like you. Well, I've also had 30 years of therapy, so there's that, which is helpful. And I've been a therapist for 25 years. There's always the deep dive in first, which is, we have to go back to the scene of the crime and understand, why is it hard? Why? Where did those limiting beliefs of not being worthy, not deserving, those are injuries. That's going to be painful. That's a childhood something. But it's important to go back there, because there's no way to, why in all of my courses and everything I'm doing, the mastermind that I'm doing right now, that I'm taking applications for right now, we walk through a process of deep self-understanding before we get into trying to transform or change anything, because there's no one size fits all. There's no one size fits all when it comes to healing and understanding. So you've got to get into, why is that true for you? All right. So one thing I do want to say, that for the first time ever, I'm collaborating with Laura Ruggio, my friend, on the vision board. It's basically bring your goals to life. That's what the class is. It's like, how do we get from having this vision of what we want to having the life we actually want? And that's basically what we're going to be walking you through in the vision board class. And I hesitate to call it a vision board class, because it's so much more than that. It's about helping reveal your deepest heart's desire, because a lot of times we don't even really know what we want. So we're going to be going through a whole entire process before we're creating this tool that will keep it at the front of our minds. I will assume that someone will tell me what the link is at some point. It's starting next week, and tomorrow we'll send the link out for that. Oh, with the recording of the email. So there you go, you guys. Tomorrow you're going to get a recording of this, and we're going to send you the link for that if you're interested. Will the vision board class be a good exercise for a 20-year-old who's searching for meaning and purpose in her life? Yes, Crystal. Yes. I actually don't know the price. Anne, can you mention the price on this call? The price of the vision board class, Anne? Is that what you want? Do we know the price of the vision board class? Because I don't even know if we do. If my team tells me, I'll be happy to tell you. I do not know. I also wanted to tell you guys about Flourish. So the mastermind is, we're taking applications right now and setting up discovery calls. So if you're a woman It's only for women. I'm sorry, guys, to the 10%. It's only for women, entrepreneurs, helpers, healers. If you're doing good in the world and you could use a crew of women to support you, we're going to be together for 8 months. We've got 2 in-person, like live in real life in New York and in Austin. We're getting together for like these luxury retreats, but it's 8 months of being together. We're tackling basically mindset, relationships, boundaries, and business topics. It's a whole combination. So for me, being a therapist for 25 years, plus a business owner for all of this time, I built this online empire. So I have a lot of women joining who are similar, but want more visibility. They want to have a podcast. They want to make more money. And then every month, we're also going to have guest speakers, depending on who the whole group ends up being. But we're so excited. I've never done it before. So awesome. So go to terricole.com /flourish. If you like my coaching style, if you want to set up a discovery call with me, that's right. I'm hopping right on the phone with you. Well, right on FaceTime, actually. We will see each other just to see if you are a good fit. So if that's interesting, go to terricole.com /flourish. The space in New York is so amazing, you guys. I'm just so excited. Like we're getting out of lockdown finally, for real. And now doing this to actually be in the real world with you people. And it's going to be a small group. There's only about going to be 12 to 15 people in the group total. So if the mastermind isn't for you, because it's not inexpensive, all of my courses are open for self-study for enrollment while I write the second book, which is on high functioning codependency. So that's Boundary Bootcamp, Crushing Codependency, The Mother Wound. And for the first time, Real Love Revolution is available for self-study. You got to go through the courses at your own pace. And Sarah, our coach, who is the only coach that I actually trained, will be there to answer questions. So yes, it's self-study, but you also have support from me and Team TC. Okay, I'm going to hit one more question one or two more before we go. Anne said, can you address feeling like it's too late, like age-wise, to find love? I know the answer is it's never too late, but it sometimes feels that way. Listen, I understand. I understand that it feels that way. And yet it's a limiting belief that you've got to be diligent to not buy into, because really, and you know what, and what I would honestly say, look for evidence to the contrary. Go online, whatever age you are, look and say, people who found love after 50, after 60, after 70, after 80, whatever the age, right? Yeah. And Susan just said, I thought it too, but I found it at 55. So I say, let's look for the evidence that what we want is possible. It is. Loretta said, I'm evidence at 66. Yeah, Loretta. Do you see? Right, literally, and right here. In our family, 77 and 86 got married, just said Marie. I was 60, he was 63. Oh, so good. So it just is so, my heart is like just so happy right now. Yes, first thing first, love yourself. That's right, Pat. We know it. So beautiful. Jesse said, how do you avoid resentment when you're the one doing the work for your marriage? My loving, kind, generous husband would happily sit on the couch until the day we die without talking about anything, about us, our future, our life. We both acknowledge that we're not in a great place. He wants to make me happy, but he would super prefer if that meant binge watching Netflix instead of talking. The thing is, though, you got to say, babe, I love you. You are sweet and generous and kind, and we've built a life together. And this is out of your comfort zone, and I know it. But I need this, right? I need this. And I need, even though you're resistant, please, I need you to take responsibility because my needs matter, babe. I will binge Netflix with you. And I'm going to ask you to get into therapy with me or a communications coach or whatever it is that you want them to do. Like part of it is just having an honest conversation that's not one that's like, we need to talk, but is more like, babe, I know this is hard for you, but I need you to put in the effort. Even if you only do it because I'm asking you to do it, that's good enough. That's great. You don't have to want to do it. You just got to do it. Does that make sense? Like, let him do it. If he's doing it for you, amazing. That's a damn good reason to do it. All right. Yvonne said, how do I get my boyfriend to dig into his basement and recognize where his crap behavior is coming from? His mother was the source, but he refuses to face this, and his behavior towards me is hurtful. Put up boundaries, Yvonne. Boundaries around hurtful behavior. No, just effing no is what I'm saying about hurtful behavior. That's his side of the street. And you can say, listen, you can resist it, but I am not taking this on, and I do not deserve this treatment. And if you don't handle your own shit, it's going to come between us, because it already is. And I love you, and I don't want that to happen, but it's happening, and I don't have the power to stop it. I don't have the power to stop it, because you don't. You don't have the power to stop how his behavior is going to change the way you feel about him. Make sense? All right, maybe one last one. I'm working on boundaries with my very difficult husband. Should I put a 3 strikes you're out boundary in my head if he continues things I've asked of him? And what boundary can I use with him, short of saying to him, if you continue to do that, I'll leave the marriage? I mean, if you're at that point though, Gwen, I think you have to say, listen, not all boundaries are the same, right? But these are my deal breakers. And I'm telling you right now, if this piece doesn't change, we need to figure out how to meet in the middle on this, or talk about it, or get into therapy. I'm not like, this is a deal breaker for me. You got to let them know, and listen, for some people who are very difficult, you do have to just tell them the thing, All right. All right, you guys, this was amazing. I hope that you got something from it. I love that you guys all did the 10-day, or starting, or doing it now. We're going to send you a copy of this tomorrow, so that you'll have the recording in case you missed anything. We're going to, all the courses and all the stuff, we'll put all the links in there, everything that we talked about. I really want you, if you are an entrepreneur, if this sparked you at all, consider Flourish. If you're in a good situation financially, because I promise you, it will change your life. Because if you like this, imagine spending 8 whole friggin' months with me and Team TC and 11 other amazing women. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm kissing all of you. Happy Galentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. I am so grateful that you are in my life. You are the reason I do what I do. I put out everything that I put out for you, with you in mind. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Just know that I got you,